What is up, guys? Fair and Unfair here.
I'm fair.
I'm Unfair.
And don't be alarmed. I still have arms. You can call me armed and dangerous if you'd like.
You have arms?
Armed and dangerous, man. What else does that mean?
Fair enough. Well, today we decided we're going to be playing in Historic once again, just like we did last week. The deck we're playing this time is going to be Bant Historic.
In Historic.
In Historic. And it was really an interesting pile of cards that we decided to put together. It was all the idea of putting Stonecoil Serpent and Octopus into a deck and putting those cards together. And the more I've realized that Stonecoil Serpent just has these great synergies with other cards like the Ozolith and Emry.
And all that glitters.
It just ended up kind of building itself almost, and Octopus ended up just not finding itself in a place where it was able to go along with the rest of the deck. We decided that the reason we wanted to play this deck is because, once again, we're trying to find more interesting decks to play that we can brew around and brew and play alongside, instead of just your generic, like, mono-red aggro deck you see every single person playing, or like you don't see the Winota decks everybody was playing for a while.
God, that card is a mistake.
It really was. Have you died to Winota before it was banned from Historic?
What is that card? 7 mana that like doubles the damage itself? Engrass Marauders?
Yeah, the rare that nobody plays unless it's specifically with Winota.
Yeah, you know I died a lot more to that than I did Agent of Treachery.
It's almost like Agent of Treachery wasn't as bad as people thought of, but I guess people thought Luca was a reason?
It's almost like it died for Winota's sins. Wow! How could wizards have not realized this?
Anyways, we're going to be playing... Once again, we're going to be playing Bant Historic. The deck is more of a mid-range style with a lot of synergies. So if you have any questions about the deck, there are almost certainly some type of answer for why we're playing what we're playing.
It could just be because I wanted to play the card.
That's a possibility as well. Well, anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and comment, because the more you do that, the more you do that.
Show your kids. Show your wife. Show your friends. Show some stranger that lives next to you.
Or all of the above, or none of the above if you don't have any of those. If you're living in a box and watching our episode, well, good on you. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this game. Unfair here. Unfortunately, Fair wasn't able to make it because I'm posting this part of the video a little bit after everything else. Due to a popular request from the last video, wanted to go ahead and give you guys an idea as to what the actual deck is before we go into it. So just a quick deck tech. Wait. I'm missing a card. Oh, I'm missing a Kinnan. I don't know why I lost one. But anyways, so as we were saying in the intro, this is more of a synergy style based deck. And we have Mox Amber, which works really well with the fact that we have Kinnan, 2 of them usually. The second one, as I said, disappeared. Emry's, Size, Uros, and Shalai, and Teshar. So there's a lot of options that activate Mox Amber, and specifically with Kinnan, it just makes it especially good. And then not only that, but Mox Amber also gives you an extra bonus to all the glitters. At literally the worst case scenario, you can sacrifice Mox Amber to Sai to make a token, or to draw a card. So we also have Gilded Goose, because not only is Gilded Goose just a good card in general, the token it makes is specifically an artifact, so later game you can use it to boost your all the glitters, or just get more of a value train going with gaining life or activating geese. The Ozolith surprisingly works really well with both Stonecoil Serpent and Crystalline Giant, because of the fact that it gains any counters, not just 1/1 counters. And so having an Emry on the field with an Ozolith means that even if they are killing your Stonecoil Serpent over and over again, you can constantly just make it bigger and bigger and bigger, because every time it leaves the battlefield, all those counters go back to the Ozolith. Because it's not upon whenever the creature dies, but whenever it leaves the battlefield, which is a huge distinction. So even if it's exiled via Banishing Light or something, we will get to keep the counters on the Ozolith. Stonecoil Serpent is just a generally powerful card. The Reach and Trample and Protection from Multicolored are all surprisingly useful abilities. And not only that, but the fact that, once again, it works really well with the Ozolith, and it can be a threat early or late game. and Trample going on with All That Glitters is just another reason that it's just so powerful. Speaking of All That Glitters, it does a very good Ethereal Armor impersonation, except instead of focusing on enchantments, it's artifacts or enchantments, so we decided to go the artifact route. And therefore, having the 4 All That Glitters to be able to put onto your Gilded Geese or Stonecoil Serpents or any of your Thopter tokens just gives you such a faster clock that it's absolutely worth playing. Glass Casket, being a way to get rid of Uros as well as other problematic early game permanents, is really nice, specifically creatures. But the fact that it also gives you triggers off of or gives you points off of All the Glitters, or triggers off of Psi and makes Emry cheaper, it's just a really good card in general. Kinnan is a card that I didn't think was going to be very good in the deck, however it ended up being a lot better because of the fact that it makes both your Geese and your Ambers tap for double mana, which has come up more than once. And then not only that, because of the fact that it's both green and blue, it gives Mox Amber 2 of the 3 colors that we're playing, and you can actually activate its 7 ability fairly easily, because usually when he's on the field, you have an Amber or a Gilded Goose. So instead of being the normal 7 minutes, 6 or 5 or 4, theoretically, of course, because of the way that he works. So activating him is a lot more likely versus what you would normally expect. Emry is just like the card you want to play in an artifact-style deck, being able to use it to mill 4 cards to make your Uros come in faster, as well as getting your Stonecoil Serpents back over and over again has just been very powerful. Psi is probably the weakest card in the deck so far, because of the fact that he doesn't really do as much as a lot of the other cards. However, he is very good when it comes to decks that have a hard time interacting with lots and lots of permanents. So the fact that you can use your Emry to bring back Stonecoil Serpent, and when you cast it, you also get a Thopter token off of Psi, just ends up giving you a decent amount of incremental advantage that can end up being insurmountable in the later game. Uro doesn't really need an explanation. It's just one of the best cards that's been printed. It has the 2019 syndrome, as a lot of people have been calling it, where they just keep on putting more and more and more text on creatures. And Uro is just a super powerful card. If you're not playing it and you're playing blue and green, you have to have a very good reason not to. Crystalline Giant is a card that has been surprisingly powerful as well. The only issue with it is that if you wanted to play this card in paper, you don't, because it's just an absolute menace to have the idea of being able to randomly choose a counter. But other than that, Crystalline Giant being able to have all of the different tokens off of the Ozolith, or have all of its counters placed onto the Ozolith to later be put onto your Stonecoil to maybe give it hexproof or flying or anything like that, can end up being really good. Otherwise, just the fact that it keeps on getting abilities and you can put in all the glitters onto it can just be a very powerful advantage as well. Shalai is also one of the weaker cards alongside Psi. However, just having that one extra card that can give you the bonuses, putting counters on everything, which works really well with the Ozolith, and then giving everything except for herself hexproof has come up more than once. Teshar is a card that I was playing around with at first because I thought it would be cute, but it ended up being way more powerful because converting mana costs 3 or less. Means if you have this on the field and you have an Uro in your graveyard, you can play a Mox Amber, get your Uro trigger again, and then you can just keep on getting your Uro triggers over and over again. Because sometimes it's better to get 2 or 3 Uro triggers without attacking than it is to actually put onto the battlefield. And then not only that, but you can get your other cards like your Emrys, your Psis, your Crystalline Giants. The fact that all of our creatures are mana cost 3 or less, other than Shalai and Teshar, just makes this card surprisingly powerful when almost all of our cards that we play are indeed historic cards. And then Teferi was a card that Nick suggested. Unfortunately, we weren't able to really show you the power of Teferi in this. However, the fact that it is just a card that people have to answer, otherwise taking those 2 extra turns can be a really good investment. If we were cutting any cards, I would probably want to cut Teferi first. But once again, it really is up to your discretion, of course, if you decide to play this deck as well. Then, of course, you've got your usual combination of fetches not fetches, I wish, shocks and buddy lands, as well as a couple of basics. And our sideboard is just a ton of cards that can deal with different types of decks. Soul God Lantern and Scavenging Ooze dealing with any of the graveyard-style decks. Dovin's Veto dealing with any control-based decks or getting rid of planeswalkers or something like that. Meddling Mage just being able to counter payoff spells in different styles of decks can be very good. Knight of Autumn is just your general catch-all card that you can just put in against a lot of different decks. It's the new version of Kasali Pride Mage, if people remember that from Modern being played often. One of each when it comes to Lyra and Baneslayer, because it's better to have separate versions. Technically, Lyra is a little bit better in this deck because it's a historic spell, but the fact that you can have both of these on the field at the same time in the decks that you want them against is very powerful. And then Teferi is just a really good card to bring in whenever you have any type of stall or stally type matches. But yeah, that is the deck, and enjoy this gameplay. What is up, guys? We are playing Bant Historic.
In Historic.
And we are going to be absolutely crushing somebody or getting absolutely crushed, but if we're getting crushed, you're not going to see it.
Well, this guy is the Steelers, so he's getting crushed.
Steelers 1777. So yeah, this hand's great. We get to have a turn 2 Emry. Wait. Yeah, turn 2 Emry.
Actually, we can go... No, we can't do turn 1 Emry.
Yeah, we go turn 1 Gilded Goose, Mox Amber, then turn 2 Ozolith and Emry.
Yeah, this hand's great.
We can also go Kinnan on turn 2, which will give us 4 mana off of Gilded Goose and Mox Amber.
What's fun is that we can... I'm pretty sure we can still play Kinnan on turn 2 anyway.
I think
we can empty this entire hand on turn 2.
I agree. So pay that on... Yeah.
Pay 2 life. We play the Goose. It is loose.
It is loose.
We get a little Amber up in here. I don't know Amber, but there's a song that I really like named Amber.
As long as they don't kill the goose, I think we can empty our entire... Yep, there we go. Oh, and that's a great way to empty our hand into as well.
Oh my god. So we start with Emry?
We start with Kinnan.
You think so?
Yeah, because it taps both of our creatures.
That's right. Wow, we really can
so yeah, now we tap Mox Amber for double blue, and we get to play Emry and Ozolith. And we have Stonecoil Serpent in our graveyard to bring back off of Emry, which is sweet.
This is aggro. Can't see the... there we go. It's Thalia's cousin.
Yeah, we'll take that. So a second Emry's great with the arrow because we can actually get the arrow back almost immediately. I think we want to play Uro.
Wait. Can we play... I think we can play Uro this turn. Like, I think we can... Oh, no, we can't play it in.
We're 1 mana short.
1 mana short. Damn.
I do like the idea of using Emry to bring back Stonecoil Serpent. Either that or using Uro, or just playing Uro. I think playing Uro is better, though, because we're more likely to get a land drop because of that.
It's probably right.
Yeah, I think we tap this for double green and then tap the island for blue. And then play Uro.
Yeah. And we got a land.
We don't want to pay 2 life, though.
No. Next turn we can make it like a giant scorpion serpent, though. We could have just attacked with Kinnan.
I think holding on to the Kinnan is a good idea. We're actually really close to being able to activate his ability. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, we can activate his ability.
Oh my god, we can.
We just take this, I believe?
It's just 4 damage. Yeah, we'd be at 15.
We have 5 cards in our graveyard. So we can either play the Emry and immediately go Uro, or we can activate Kinnan. I think the first option is better, though, because...
we also have the option of playing a Stonecoil Serpent.
That is also an option.
And it would be a very large Stonecoil Serpent that they cannot deal with.
Yeah, this guy is extremely impatient.
Your go.
I think that the Stonecoil Serpent's a good idea since they're running a red-green. They're much less likely to have a way to actually just straight up kill it. We can play it for just play it for 7. Just call it a day.
Yeah, we can play it for 7 or even 5. I think is like 7's probably safer. Play the tap.
Yeah, and just attack for 2.
Yeah. Dude, this guy's a riot.
What, he's attacking?
Yeah, because they get the trigger off the Galia.
But we'll just...
Block the Galia, yeah.
Yeah. And we have protection from Molten Feather too, so you're not even going to hurt it.
So this turn we can either Glass Casket or we can Emry Uro. We might actually be able to do both.
We don't have the mana to do both, but we can Emry Uro or Glass Casket. We're 1 mana short because this taps for 2. That makes 6 altogether, so we have 6. But I think that Glass Casket Uro is just a little bit better. Or wait, no, we can't do both.
We can't do both. We can do Emry Uro or we can do Glass Casket Emry.
I think we go Emry first, because either way we have to cast Emry in that situation.
Yeah. We keep the untapped one. Yeah. Or the unsick one.
I think we actually will play the Mecha Godzilla now, right? Or is Uro just better?
I think Uro might just be
better. Yeah, Uro is just better. I don't know what I'm thinking. Everything that is not
an enchantment or a creature, if we can help it.
We're okay with getting rid of the Gilded Goose. We want the Kinnan to possibly be brought back through our own Teshar.
Yeah, well, the Goose is a little loose, you know what I mean?
True.
And we can still play a Goose.
Yeah, and then just attack for 7.
And we can actually play Glass Casket.
How? You're right.
So we still have that other Goose, yeah.
Yeah, I think we do actually want to play the Glass Casket and get rid of the Robber.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do anything here, but yeah, I agree.
Well, we don't know what cards they've exiled with it already, so there's a possibility it's something we don't want them casting, like a Stonecoil Serpent of their own or something, I don't know.
They haven't exiled anything with it. We emptied our hand or two.
It takes cards from the top of your library.
Yeah, but only if you have more cards than them.
You're right, I'm a dumbass.
Oh no, they have a Dawnbringer. Whatever will we do?
So the reason this deck is just so powerful is because of the fact that it has the cape of...
So the reason they're attacking here is because they want you to block with the Uro so they can make you fight with Dawnbringer. So you can either block with the Kinnan or not do anything. I think not doing anything is fine. You go down to 8 and then you attack back up to 11 and you put them at dead.
Yeah, I think we take that. So they're just straight up aggro. I think we want to bring in the Baneslayer and Lyra and the Knight of Autumns.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we don't want that Scooze, though.
Well, the Ooze is not terrible because it's an aggro deck, but Baneslayer.
Yep, that's the card I was missing. So I think we probably want to take out the Teshar because they are an aggressive deck. This card's just a little bit slow compared to the other cards. It's a 4-drop 2/2 flyer also on the front end.
It dives to literally every piece of removal they can play.
And then we still need to take out 2 more cards. I can probably see us just cutting some numbers. I would definitely want to hold on to the 2 Glass Caskets. I would probably want to drop maybe an Emry and a Kinnan.
I think Kinnan's definitely fine. You could also argue the Ozolith is worth cutting because it's more of a slower grindy card, and they are not trying to grind.
That's a valid point. And if we drop since we decided to drop the Teshars, it's just a slightly less good card.
Yeah,
I can see that. I think that's a decent swap out.
I wish Mox Amber tapped for colorless if you have a legendary artifact.
Yeah, it'd be much better. But it doesn't even count your legendary permanents. It's only creatures and planeswalkers.
Really?
Yep.
I thought it was just legendary permanents.
Nope, so did I. And then I had I think an Oath of Kylo or something like that on the battlefield, and was like, oh wait, I'm not able to tap this?
That seems unfair.
No, it's fair.
You got me there.
Yeah. The reason this deck is built the way it is so that way you can really have a synergistic build more so than anything, which is why it's really difficult to sideboard with this deck. You want to have every card in your deck, but you also... So I think this is a bit too slow since they're playing straight aggro.
Well, you obviously get Mecha Godzilla on. Yeah, mold.
Yeah, this is much better. We probably want to drop the Sai.
No, you definitely drop the All-Eclipters. You have to have a white
source. You're right. I thought we had a white source.
We definitely hope we draw a white source for that 9 bottom, but... Oh my god, that is amazing.
Yeah, the Goose is loose. There is our white source for our turn 2 Knight of Autumn.
Yeah, or we could even play Sai into Mecha Godzilla and have an extra blocker. Oh no, they're gonna play a Goblin.
Oh,
oh no.
They're gonna get it. Here comes the third one. Aww.
That's actually not that bad against us. Or that's not not that great against us.
We can also just blow it up.
That's fine. I mean, we don't play that many non-creature spells, but
I think we just want to play the Mecha Godzilla, right?
Do we want to waste the only white mana we have available?
I mean, we can just make more, right?
I honestly think we just gain life, because they only have 3 cards in hand, and we only have 1 card in hand that's going to get dealt damage by that Cinder Vines.
I guess that makes sense. And then also it trades for one of their burning trees as well. And then next turn we can play Sai into Mechagodzilla into all the glitters.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll just trade here.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh wait, that's Scavenging Ooze is the problem. Although the Sai being there is just great. Alright, white sources, if you could start showing up, I would be super appreciative.
Yeah, if we draw plains, I think we're okay with that. I'm not like Mr. Fair here. I don't hit people with 0/2 flyers.
I don't know, man. Seems really loose.
Really? These guys are just extremely aggressive. I guess we just want to block this guy. It doesn't really matter which one.
The only thing we get punished by is a damage spell, and they don't have it.
Well, Emry's an interesting draw. I think we still want to go Mechagodzilla.
No, 100% Mechagodzilla.
That'll give us a token, and he'll start to get his counters as well.
And even if they exile something with the Ooze, we can trade with the Ooze at very worst.
Yeah, and if we draw some type, like a plains or something like that, now Emry and all the glitters are passable.
Oh, they can Cindervines it.
Which, I mean, I'm not mad at. If they decide to spend their Cindervines on the Mechagodzilla, like, that's something that they did. If we get Hexproof right here, that'd be sweet. No.
Well, we're not that lucky. Wouldn't it be great if they didn't respond to the trigger and just didn't kill it and we got Hexproof? Rip. Rip.
Plains is a sweet draw here.
Plains is a really sweet draw here.
I think we just block one of their dudes and call it, right?
So we could double block with Thopter and Sai.
But if we double block, then we can no longer cast Emry and all the glitters at the same time.
So hear me out. So this Ooze cannot gain any points of toughness because they played the Elf first. I say we double block the Ooze so it cannot get any bigger.
Okay, I can see that. The only issue with that is that now we can't go Emry all the glitters at the same time if we draw a white source, which we just did. I think we go Emry first.
That's probably fair.
Furrow? Stonecoil Serpent was a great thing to mill over. So now, any white source would be sweet, but if we don't, we have the contingency of just being able to go... Oh, that was a pretty good draw.
Jesus, man.
This guy doesn't have trample, so I think we just block it with Gilded Goose.
You can't.
Oh, you're right. We can't block that at all. Wow.
That card has so much text.
It really does. It's a symptom of all of the problems that 2019 Magic had. I think we block like this.
And we draw...
And like that.
We just draw a white source here and win.
Yeah. And the contingency is like this guy dies and we can play Stonecoil Serpent from Emry and get a token back from Sai.
Yeah.
We want to save that life though because that guy is a 4/4. We're gonna go down to 4 here.
So we can play Stonecoil Serpent, get a Thopter, and then put all the glitters on the Stonecoil Serpent, and it can trade with this Questing Beast.
Or we can just play the Stonecoil Serpent for 4.
You act like I'm... Yeah, you're right. So we have 3 blockers. They can deal 1 extra to us. They're going to play a Dawnbringer, watch. Or a Haste Creature. Oh no, they have an Emry.
So we have to block like that. Oh wait, we die.
So...
Oh wait, we can go to 1 here, so block like that, block like that.
Yeah, sure.
Go down to 1, hope we draw plains.
If we draw plains, we might just win the game. Because they don't have a Questing Beast anymore, so that's like their main threat.
That was not a plains.
So we play the Ozolith, get a creature, we play the Stonecoil for 3, or we play the Mechagodzilla, hope it gets lifelink. I think that's honestly the better idea.
Play Mechagodzilla, hope it gets lifelink?
Yeah. And then the Ozolith also.
As a one.
Yeah, but we get blockers out of it, that's what's important. Lifelink.
Vigilance.
Oh my god. Why do they have to ruin our souls?
Well, there's a hasty one more power. They win. It doesn't matter how we block, we lose.
They think they're so cool.
White source would have been sweet, but that's the way the game goes sometimes. I think we just run it back, honestly. The way we had it set up was really well. We just got messed up on mana.
That is the way the cookie crumbles. Have you never heard the term?
I have. Isn't that from a movie?
That's like a very old term. Expression, whatever.
I thought there was a movie about,
It's definitely
the Anchorman or something like that?
It was definitely in the Anchorman.
Okay, this hand's great. Get a turn 1 Goose into a turn 2 Emry without activating the Goose's thing, or turn 2 Uro if we want to get the 3rd land on turn 2. Yeah, this hand's amazing.
Take that, aggro.
I think we actually want to go turn 2 Uro.
Yeah. So we can do turn 2 Uro, shock the fountain, or that in also. And then we can play Emry off. No, we can't do Emry. Never mind. But
I still think we go Uro. Because that gives us the mana we lose from playing Goose.
Yeah, you're right. 100%. 100%.
Just so many abilities.
Dude, that animation is amazing. You see that, Lyra? You see that, Lyra?
Yeah, so, we only need one more white source, and then we...
So we can play... We can... Oh, we've also
There's
just
our
drawn a white source.
Let's go.
So just
I think
play
we
it
just
and
play
do
this
Emry?
tap and play Emry, yeah. Stonecoil Serpent's a great thing to put into our graveyard.
Not what we're going to cast next turn. Thalia's...
I think we just take it.
Yeah, I mean, it's 4 damage.
Do you have a way to deal with our angel?
Do they have a fry? That's the question.
And if we draw Baneslayer Angel next turn, that would be super sweet.
Then our Lyra will have lifelink.
Wait, other way around.
Other way around, it's fine.
We are okay with that. And all that glitters going on to Lyra is even sweeter.
But they can blow it up with Cinder Vines.
That's fine. We'll play Mecha Godzilla first.
Sure.
Now, actually, I think we just Emry and play the Stonecoil for 6, right?
So we could, but they can Cinder Vines it. Then
we just Emry it back again.
Well, so like my thought here is that we could do it for like 4, and then all it glitters on the Lyra.
But we can bring back the Stonecoil. We can't bring back the All That Glitters.
Well, if they get rid of the All That Glitters, we're still gaining 5 life.
I guess it's fair.
Unfair.
Play that for 4. If it were just me, I would play the Stonecoil for... Oh, he gave up. And that's the way the cookie crumbles, ladies and gentlemen.
So, like, what kind of cookie are we talking about?
Obviously, we are thinking that it's chocolate chip, but it turns out to be oatmeal raisin.
Oh, I was thinking you were going to say, like, fudge-covered Oreos.
I mean, same thing, honestly. So yeah, the way that this deck is really built is to be super synergistic, being able to have cards like Mox Amber being able to be boosted by Kinnan. Mox Amber also just happens to make all the glitters more powerful. And then Uro, Sai, Emry, Kinnan, Teshar, Shalai, and Teferi all let you utilize it. So it's not like in a lot of decks, like you might be like making concessions to play a card like Mox Amber, but in this deck it's just an easy auto-include. And that's really how this deck worked, is it built itself. Like Stonecoil Serpents were like, well, I'm playing Stonecoil Serpent, so I mean Ozolith is just a really good card to go with it. And then the Ozolith was like, oh hey, you should play Crystalline Giant too, because you should get all those counters too, because those are the counters now, which is an insane change.
I'm not going to lie, I completely forgot its name is Crystalline Giant because of the Mechagodzilla art.
I call it Mechagodzilla more than I do Crystalline Giant, honestly. But yeah, so that you've kind of had a chance to see how the deck works. We're going to definitely be playing this deck more on stream when we start streaming. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at fair_MTG, so that way you can see whenever we do finally start streaming. And we will try to keep on putting these videos out on every Wednesday at noon.
All right, see you guys next week.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that little bell too, so that way you can see it when we put out new videos.
Show your wife, show your kids, show your neighbors.